Hello, I'm Cindy Kesey French. I am the creative director with As If Theater Company.
Hi, I'm Amy Gentry. I am the managing director of As If Theater Company, and you are watching Eclectic Arts.
Here in Kenmore, Washington.
We are.
On Thursday evening, and it's my pleasure to be talking with two of the co-founders of As If Theaters. How you doing today?
Doing
Great.
good. Yeah, fighting a cold, so we're going to muddle through that.
Okay, all
Is
right.
muddle the
Show
right
must
word?
go on.
Show must go on and all that.
All right, well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today, and I'm looking forward to talking more about your company and everything that's coming up. So for those that aren't familiar with As If Theater, can you take us back to the beginning and how you started?
We like to do the cart before the horse. So we started with the intent of producing this play, and I was going to produce it under my old production company. And she was pushing me to find a place. We came here, we walked in, met the president of the Kenmore Community Club, who is lovely and very supportive, and said, "We're looking for a theater company to come in here." We left, we walked next door to 9 Yards Brewing, we sat down and we said, let's do it. We'd been talking about a theater company for a long time, and this was just the invitation we needed to walk through. So,
Yeah, so it was really, we wanted to do the clean house. We knew that. And then walking into this space, it was like, oh, we could do this. This could actually work. Yeah. And it was like, maybe we should keep doing this. And so
As If was born.
we should act as if we already are a theater company.
Yes.
So we did.
Okay.
And it was very quick. We made this decision, like we've been talking about a theater company. Molly and I have been talking, we met on Steel Magnolias at Driftwood, and then Amy and I met at Driftwood as well. So collectively, we've been talking about a theater company for probably 4 years. And it was that when this opportunity came, we jumped at it, because this is what I've been saying. There's no theater between Edmonds and Woodinville. And even far north, I don't even know if there is a theater north unless you get to Everett.
Yeah.
So it's quite an expanse that it's a great opportunity.
Void.
It's a
We're
void.
filling a void.
It's a chasm. Theater chasm.
Okay, and like you mentioned, it's been about 4 years or so that you've been percolating on this idea, and eventually when this opportunity came, it's like, okay, let's make it happen. What are some of the things, and there may be a long laundry list of these, but what are some of the things that you've encountered getting this company up and running and getting the production up and running, being the bosses and the co-founders of your own company?
Oh boy, it is no joke. I will say, starting the theater company, and we also all have our day jobs and families and are working, so this really is a true labor of love.
Emphasis on labor. That's what we've learned. It's a lot of labor.
It's a lot of work, and so it was also sort of just not knowing what we didn't know. And from, we started the process with the show and just getting the designers and setting up auditions, and even just the, how do we get people to audition for this? How do we get designers that we want? And really,
Well, and in the North End, how do we get people of color to audition for this? Because the roles, we don't want to whitewash anything. We want to have this, authentic. And it's just from what we've experienced with other theater companies up north, it's a little bit more challenging to get people of color up north. So you spent a lot of time networking with, who did you contact?
I work in a theater and just really reaching out to folks who really work in different communities, and just saying, like, how do I get people to come audition for these roles that call for an Argentinian, a Brazilian? We wanted to make sure that we were really doing it right, and that takes work, and it's work that's worth it.
Oh, yeah.
And so luckily we had people who would post on certain websites. There was Seattle Theater Artists. There's a POC, Seattle Artists webpage, and so we were able to get the word out a little more. So that was, right off the bat, it was like, okay, how do we do this? How do we do this right? Everything, we wanted to not just slap it together, but to be thoughtful and purposeful, and how we knew we wanted to represent ourselves and move forward.
And it is when we thought about what to do, we want a theater company that is respectful to its artists, whether it's on stage or behind the scenes, and in the audition process. We want to be respectful. We want to be collaborative, with the caveat that the director has the last say. But we want an atmosphere of learning and growing, because for me, the rehearsal process is the most fun for me. It's great to do the show, but I find the most growth and creativity,
and play, and the
Yeah.
hard work, and you want to be with people who you want to be with.
Yeah.
that
And it
you
is.
wanna-
And when you are in a collaborative environment, you're not scared to make those really dumb choices that oftentimes work. Oftentimes they will be like, that's it. And then you have to laugh through it for a few
Yeah.
more rehearsals until you can.
But so we had, so there was just the process of the actors, the designers, making sure we were getting the right team together. And then it was.
Getting risers.
Yeah, it's the
Getting-
risers. This was the hugest deal. So we, the
For
space.
us, it was the
The
biggest deal
space
for
is
us.
the space is just a big open room. We knew that we wanted not to just be on the tiny stage, but to use the floor as the stage, and then we needed to rake the audience. We were lucky enough to be able to.
My girlfriend Robin Steele used to work for the city of Bellevue, and so with Bellevue Youth Theater, she said, "Oh, I know they have an extra set of risers. Why don't you just ask them?" And he was so lovely. He's like, "Sure, a couple $100 and a mention in the program is all they need," and they've been delightful. So
Then came the day that Cindy and I rented a U-Haul and drove to Bellevue, and we're like, "How hard can it be?"
on
It's
her
just-
birthday,
On my birthday, it could have. How hard can it be? It's just some railings and some risers.
they looked really light.
Oh my gosh, this was no joke, and it was just the two of us.
It was and it came in a big cart, which was just too wide for the ramp, because I was smart. I
To
got
roll into
the
the
ramp,
truck.
Oh,
which I don't think we could have done
So we
anyway. It's
had
much
to
too
take
heavy.
them all off. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I still think I have
One at a time.
bruises from that.
It was.
But now we sit here and we look at it, and it's like, this is perfect. Like, it just couldn't have been. The people who run this building just couldn't believe how it was transformed into
Yeah.
this theater. And then we worked.
And finding them. David Evans, who's the president, he has been integral in getting us a lighting system that works most of the time. Most of the time it works. But, without him, we wouldn't have the stage lights and the beautiful, this show, as you're aware, there's got some wonderful fantasy elements. The lighting is integral. however you say that.
Yeah, so there were no pipes up here to hang theater lights.
Oh, okay.
So the building installed those for us. And that's huge. I mean, it sounds like it's not, but
It's
we
huge.
would not be able to have a theater lighting system in here if they weren't there. Or they would be different.
Right.
So there's that kind of learning curve. And then, it's also just, can the building withhold the electricity amount? All of the different things that we needed to figure out about being up here. The community has been outstanding
Stunning,
as far
stellar.
as supportive, and the local businesses, local restaurants, everybody has come in, and we've been able to partner with them to promote the show, which has been so fabulous. Arts of Kenmore. Arts?
I think it's Arts of Kenmore.
Arts of Kenmore has been wonderful, and they're an organization that really supports the arts.
Yeah,
in
usually
Kenmore.
they're visual artists, but they want to umbrella more performing arts
Yeah.
now. So it's a perfect time for
Yeah.
us to come in
Yeah.
and really just expand, not just in the shows, but it's exciting. What do we want to do?
Mhm.
And I'm excited because there's classes that I want to offer so that I can take.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Playwriting
that's-
classes,
Mhm.
monologue audition workshops.
Yeah, and everybody's excited about them. So it's great that we did this thing. It took a lot of work, but the response has been so rewarding. And like I sit there, I'm like, no, I would still do this. We'll keep doing this. It's hard.
We're just going to figure out some shortcuts.
Yeah, this was I mean, we're going to have a bit of a postmortem after this show just to say, okay, what can we do better? What do we do differently? What do we not do? I think. But like for, our friends at Edmonds Driftwood Players, they
Oh, they've been wonderful.
have been outstanding. So we
Mhm.
borrowed a lot of things from them, the flats, these things, but also they have some expertise in different things on building things, lighting, all that stuff. So we are able to reach out and get support in those ways too.
Which is great. I think the theater companies truly, they want other theater companies to succeed. More art is a good thing. I don't think
Yeah.
people will say, I'm not going to go to that show because I'm going to go to that show if there's two good
Yeah.
shows. You're encouraged
The nice
to
thing
go to
about
both of
being
them.
up here too is it's affordable. You can,
We have parking
and we have parking.
Mhm.
That's our big thing.
and breweries.
Yeah, so I think that's, I don't know what I was saying, but
I'm sure it was brilliant.
it was affordable to be up here, so you really could see 3 shows at 3 different theaters for the price of one show in Seattle.
Yeah, and just from an actor's perspective or a designer's perspective, it's nice to be able to rehearse up here. We took advantage of Driftwood's extra rehearsal spaces, and that was so nice. Oftentimes we will go and rehearse downtown at TPS, which is a great space, but I always have to pay for parking. And since I'm lazy, I always pay for the expensive parking.
Mhm.
And it gets
One time you got a ticket, remember that?
and I got
that
a
was like a
ticket.
$45
That was a really
parking.
expensive parking job.
But yeah, it's been an experience, and it's Cindy and I are in the show. Molly's not in this one, but she's been helping a lot on the engagement side of things, and really doing pulling together some special treats for the guests, being a nice hostess when we're here, and helping with volunteers has been a big part of it. But I think one thing we really were learning was being in the first show
Not so
and
smart.
producing it, and it's usually all the everybody's gone, and then we realize, oh, it's you and me, let's mop, let's do I'll go get the apples, you go get this, let's do, and then we realize it's really
Because sometimes you do find apples underneath the risers. You don't want to leave them there too long.
so I think
Or a tree.
I'm always like, we need to get another crew person, we need a volunteer who can help us backstage, but
And we realize we are that group.
right we are the volunteers, we're excellent.
We're really dedicated.
I do feel like if one, especially in those small, if one does well, we all do well. I was going back and forth with someone at the Phoenix Theater today, and I was like, would you guys post something? And she was like, yes, in fact, I want to do something where we all get together and promote each other and
Right.
do things together.
And that's the same conversation I'm having with Yelmer Anderson, my former drama teacher in high school, who is now the creative director at Woodinville Rep. So we are talking about maybe having something where, what can we do together so that we all remain strong?
And I think the next thing we are doing here is a monologue workshop for local actors. And it's by donation, so, we really are welcoming all local actors to come in and try out their monologues, and we have some directors who will be here to give advice and feedback. And I think that's a good way of bringing the actors and to get everybody
And
together.
it's exciting because when actors do monologues, it's very rare that they perform it for other people prior to walking into an audition.
Bathroom mirror.
Yeah, which is like, I look great. So really, we've got some directors that have volunteered their time. They get to get hopefully some great feedback and pointers and get those kind of nerves off by doing it in front of human beings instead of your cat. Not that
Your
I've ever
cat
done
does
that.
think you're wonderful, though.
Does
There's somebody.
really?
Is it?
Oh, somebody's here. I'm
Oh,
excited.
that's Sarah. That's our
Sarah's
stage
here.
manager.
We love Sarah.
Yeah, so, in our program, we have a lot of ads for the local theaters, and we just did them. I don't even think they know they're in them.
No, I just didn't. I did. We ended up having to have more pages than I expect, and I would love, instead of us talking about Amy's hair, she likes talking about her hair.
So nice.
It's so nice. Instead of to really utilize it for somebody that may benefit from it. I'm all for that.
Yeah,
Spread the love.
I'm with you.
Plus, we owe them probably a kidney.
Some of them, yes.
Some of them. It's going to be your kidney.
It's okay.
Mine's busy.
Okay, and on that note, you mentioned the monologues that are coming up. Can you
Yes.
kind of give a timeline for those that are interested? And also, what else is coming up? Like, when's your next production? And what else is going on with the
Yes,
company?
We've got lots of stuff coming up. We have, we're going to do the monologue workshop. We're going to see how it works.
It's on March 11th.
Jeez. At 7 o'clock. That'll probably go 7 to 10. We're going to hang out, do a little networking, bring some snackies so people will be nice and comfy. And then we have an introduction to playwriting workshop, which is on March 16th with Catherine Rush, who is a very successful playwright. She also teaches. That's just a Saturday class. Hopefully that will evolve into something more. And then in July, the end of July, we are doing,
July or June?
July.
Okay. I believe you.
Well, you better. We're doing a short play festival. And that, we've got some great ideas for that. We're still needing to hammer out the final details.
Yeah, so soon we'll be posting about the play festival, where we'll be asking for local playwrights to submit. We'll give a prompt that we want the plays to be about. So they'll have, hopefully, 3 months or,
Right.
a month to write it, because we'll need to choose it.
Yeah, they'll have
You're going to watch us figure it out right in front of you. So we'll have a timeline for the playwrights, and then we'll, do casting and directing and all that good stuff. And then it'll be a couple of days of running the plays. But I think that's really exciting. Those are really fun if you've ever
They're
been
so
to
fun.
them. Phoenix or Driftwood does them, and they're just really get the community behind them.
And they're just, you'll have, 6 to 8 10-minute plays. And it's very challenging to write a complete story in 10 minutes.
Especially if it's a prompted story, if it has to include certain elements.
Which is, I think, is just so fun. We did one last year, and that was a lot.
Yeah.
At the Phoenix, we did the little, except that they had 24 hours.
Yeah.
That wasn't as fun.
That was hard.
That was
We
really
both wrote. And then in October we have we'll be in the space again for a 3-week run of another play, to be determined. I have stacks of scripts next to my bed that need to be read. So we have lots of ideas flying around, but we have not decided what we're going to do.
Although I do think we want a good, meaty comedy.
Yeah.
Just a,
Yeah, we want to offer, we do want to do plays that are challenging and not just hilarious romps. However, who doesn't like a good hilarious romp? So I think, we still want to do what, the community wants to see. And then I think we'll figure out how much we can push it. I do think for the Clean House, which is not an easy play, it's not just a simple script, but I've been so just pleasantly surprised at how the reception the audience has given. Like, I think nobody has really said, like, that's not a normal comedy. Like, it has so many elements of, what did you just say? There's a lot, it's got some heft to it in there that you have to think about a little bit. But I just love, there was a woman sitting on the end when we walked off the stage the other night who none of us knew. We always love to see strangers in the audience. It's like not just filled with our family and friends, but, and she just said, that was beautiful. And I was like, no, that meant everything though, that it spoke to her and resonated a little bit. So.
Yeah, so we're trying to decide, do we do something lighter but hysterical in the fall, and then when we go back to the winter, is it, personally, my favorite types of the plays are those beautiful balance between serious and comedy.
Yeah.
But, maybe some things will be a little bit more serious depending on if we find a good script. There's a lot of good scripts out there.
Yeah.
But the dressing room's a challenge, so I don't think we'll see like 19 people on stage.
No, we will have to stay pretty small. That's another thing that's been interesting.
Our dressing room's like sardines. Yeah. But we've managed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Thank
and
you.
I'm looking forward to seeing the show. And for those that are watching this, go to the website. And I know you guys are all across social media because I'm liking and a lot of your posts and following you and everything
Thank
on Instagram.
you.
So come out and see the show this weekend if you can. And otherwise, look at all the things that they have coming up
Yes.
in the coming months here. So
We've got
thank you.
exciting stuff happening. Get on our mailing list.
Yes.